Yeah, it's been almost a year. Almost 365 days since the last upload. Yeah, that's a long time, and a lot has happened since then. But hear me out, because you see, this was actually a part of a long, complicated, carefully thought out, elaborate plan. Okay, nah, I'm just kidding, but I'm back for now. I was actually planning on making my return for the Grammys this year, but that's been delayed until April. And plus, the Super Bowl was a few days ago, and Super Bowls have halftime shows. I'm pretty sure that's common knowledge by now. So I thought, why not grace you all with my thoughts and opinions now? You're welcome. Now, if you want the whole historical background of the Super Bowl halftime shows, you can go check out my video on last year's halftime show with The Weeknd. I go into a little bit more detail about why the Super Bowl halftime shows are such a big deal in general, and for myself personally. But since that was literally 2 videos ago, I figured I could just cut to the chase for this one because we have a lot to talk about here. So, without further ado, let's talk about this year's Super Bowl halftime show. So, this year's edition of the Super Bowl halftime show saw Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick Lamar, Eminem, and Mary J. Blige all share the stage for the first time ever. Now, when the announcement dropped back in September, obviously like everyone else, I was going nuts. Anyone with a sane mind would look at that lineup and easily recognize the sheer legendary status in music that every single one of them has. But one thing I was also really skeptical about was that very same thing. Okay, bear with me because this may seem way out of topic, but when the Avengers came out back in 2012, Jesus, that was 10 years ago. Oh my God. A lot of people were really on the fence about whether the movie would actually work. Because, you had all these big superheroes occupying the same movie for 2 hours, and people weren't really sure whether having that many characters on screen would actually turn out well. Obviously, as we now know, it worked, but trust me, it was not an easy feat. And the second I saw the lineup for this year's halftime show, believe me, I was hyped. But that PTSD was hyped too, I'm not gonna lie. Because the thing is, every single name on the lineup is arguably good enough for their own halftime show. Yeah, some are obviously more popular than others, but you can't deny the fact that Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Kendrick, Eminem, and Mary J. Blige are some of the best to ever do it in their respective fields, hands down. So I was really looking forward to this show, not only because I have massive respect for these artists, but also because I was really anxious to see whether they could actually pull it off. And for me, I'm still a bit on the fence about it. But first, let's get into the positives from this year's show. Before I get canceled and lose the 12 subscribers I have, let's talk a little bit about what I liked about the show. First, I thought the stage design was pretty good, even though it wasn't on the same scale as halftime shows before it. I like how they incorporated so much LA culture in the layout and set design. It wasn't too extravagant, but it was pretty unique as well. I also thought the transitions between each performer were absolutely well done and just kept the set very, very smooth. I thought the camera work, specifically during Kendrick's part, was really, really dope and very immersive. And also, Anderson .Paak, one of the most underrated artists in modern music, in my opinion, was on drums for Eminem's performance. Definitely wasn't expecting him to show up, but I'm glad he did. What a legend. Now, I'll save a bit of time and rank every artist's performance while talking a bit about each one as I go on. And please bear in mind that my rankings do not change how I view any of these artists. As I said before, all of them are legends in my book. This is just based on what they had to work with given the circumstances. Alright, let's do this. At number 6, I have 50 Cent. So this year's guest appearance was from none other than 50 Cent. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I've never really been too heavy into 50 Cent like that, so I wasn't jumping out of my seat when he showed up, or upside down. I was pretty much just like, oh, okay, cool, that's 50 Cent. Yay. I mean, I don't know, man. 50 just didn't have enough energy for me to be invested in his performance. He seemed really out of place and not really vocally confident at times. It seemed like he was just there to secure the bag, make a meme of himself, and then promote his show in the process, which I guess he did, so W for 50, but kind of an L performance. Yeah, I know there were rumors that a Tupac hologram was making an appearance at the halftime show this year. And I'm not gonna lie, I think watching a hologram would have been more entertaining than 50's performance on Sunday. At number 5, I have Snoop Dogg. Now, I know this is a weird one for me because Snoop was on when the classics were on. In the next episode, Still Dre, all intergalactically recognized bangers. But his performance just wasn't stand out for me. Kind of similar to 50, Snoop just didn't really have enough energy for me to be really invested. And I know Snoop is a laid back guy, and also of course I wasn't expecting too much, but the difference between him and 50 is that it actually looked like he wanted to be there, at least for me. But the most entertaining thing about his performance for me was the Crip Walk, and I mean, it's good to see that he still got it at least. At number 4, I have Dr. Dre. Now, this might come as a surprise to some people, but I was actually really impressed with Dr. Dre's performance. Obviously, Dr. Dre is a hip-hop icon, but I've actually never really been too into his stuff like that. And most times when I am listening to someone alongside him, like an Eminem or Kendrick Lamar, they usually steal the spotlight. So given that I'd say he was the main headliner, I was really nervous about whether he'd be able to hold his own out there, and I think he did. Dre gave a solid performance on the night, and Still Dre as a closer was a really, really good choice to end out the set. At number 3, I have Eminem. Now, for the record, there is no doubt, absolutely no doubt, that if Eminem had more stage time, he would have been ranked way higher. But nonetheless, I still think Slim Shady did his thing out there. Lose Yourself is a timeless song for me, but also given the setting, I don't think there could have been a better song choice in the man's discography, and I think he nailed his performance as well. At number 2, I have Mary J. Blige. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this is the surprise entry for me. Obviously, I know Mary J. Blige, heard a few of her songs growing up, but out of all the performers, her discography is the one I'm the least familiar with. But vocally, she killed it, and towards the end of her second song, it generally looked like she was just getting started. And then it ended, which really sucked, but thankfully someone else was able to carry the torch, and that is none other than Kendrick Lamar. Now, I don't think this is a surprise for anyone, honestly. One thing that I will say though is that despite Kendrick being my favorite performer of the night, I don't think it was the best live performance of his that I've seen. And that, I think, really just shows how entertaining the man is as both an artist and a performer. Again, same with the last two, my only real complaint is that there just wasn't enough time. I thought from his entrance he was setting up for Humble. I saw the formation, I had flashbacks to the music video, and then I thought, it's happening. The peak of black excellence. It's right here. And then he performed Mad City, and alright, which were still dope. I think that both renditions of those songs were absolutely well done and really, really entertaining. But again, for an artist of his level, his set was just way too short. Best performance of the night though, hands down. So in general, what did I think about this year's halftime show? And as of right now, I still don't know exactly how I feel about it. What I can definitely say as of now though, if I'm being truly honest, is that this year's performance just didn't hit as hard on the first watch. And I know that's weird because as I mentioned earlier, the lineup was absolutely insane. On paper, one of the best in halftime show history in my opinion. But again, the problem with having a really good lineup is making sure you have enough time for them to give a really good performance. And unfortunately, I don't think we got it on Sunday. And I know I've seen a lot of people going crazy on social media saying this is the greatest halftime show of all time, and I really wish I could agree, I really do. But I think the nostalgia factor is hitting extremely hard for a lot of people, especially on first viewing, but it makes sense why, and I can't really be mad at that. Now, just to be clear as well, this wasn't the worst Super Bowl halftime show I've ever seen. Trust me, there's been worse. In terms of where I'd rank this one out of the halftime shows I've seen, I'd probably put it in between Bruno Mars's in 2014 and Lady Gaga's in 2017. Hopefully next year things can pick back up again, probably with a smaller lineup. But yeah, those are my thoughts on this year's Super Bowl halftime show. What did you guys think about it though? Did you like it? Was it the worst you've ever seen? Where did does it rank in your halftime show tier list? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, feel free to subscribe and drop a like to support the channel. You could also check out the Jukebox on Instagram and Twitter at the Jukebox Official for some more content over there. And that's about it from me. I'll catch you guys in the next one, whenever that is. Peace out.